Hey, what's going on? It's Adam here. Let's go ahead and go over a scenario and we'll work from this scenario. The scenario is this. Hi, my name is Sarah and I run a business selling my copywriting services and I'm currently charging $35 an hour. I'm unsure if I'm charging enough, and if not, how would you go about increasing my prices? So what most people underestimate when they're working with a client is they underestimate the amount of time they spend on the front end to understand the client they want to work with. So for example, in your case, Sarah, in this example, and this applies to everybody watching here, is that if you're working with the client, you have to do a discovery phase. You have to understand who their target audience is, right? You have to understand the voice they write in, what their style is. You have to take some time to really understand your client. And most people who are charging for their services don't value that piece. And so they give all of that away for free. And so what I want to do is I want to write down a couple of points that are going to help you with regards to charging more. And the first thing that I want to be able to write down here is you want to be able to charge for that strategy time, because it's that strategy time that is that upfront work to truly understand who their audience is and what they're going to need to be able to have an aligned experience with you being their copywriter, writing to their audience for conversion. So it's great to be able to sell the strategy up front. And what that does is it's a lower entry for them to say yes to. And it also allows you to be able to get paid for that time up front. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we want to be able to know who it is that we're selling to. And these two things come next, which is the target audience and the outcome that you're going to be able to provide for that audience. So for example, if you're selling to somebody who has an email list of 20,000 people, you know that your copywriting is going to be significantly more than if you're selling to somebody who only has an email list of 2,000 people. So your writing is 10 times more valuable to the person who has a 20,000 person email list because it has the opportunity to generate 10 times more revenue. And so we call this outcome-based or impact-based pricing, where it's not about the dollar amount, it's about the impact you bring to that entrepreneur in this example, right? So when you understand that, then in the sales process, you're able to articulate the impact. So let me give you an example. I remember the first time I went from charging $300 a month to $2,000. I thought no one would ever buy $2,000. I went to $5,000. Then I went to $7,500. I was like, oh my gosh, no one would ever pay me $7,500. Then went to $10, $25, $50, $100. And what I learned about these different tiers is that as I went higher, you can't sell a $50,000 or $100,000 package to somebody making $50,000 a year, right? So you have to know who you're selling to, and then you also have to know the impact that you're making. And so I knew that if I'm going to charge $50,000, I expect that my service would be able to help somebody have an impact of 7 figures or more, right? There has to be a multiple there on the investment. So you have to be able to calculate what you project, for example, maybe your sales copy, what it will generate for that entrepreneur. So then you can have a projection or an illustration of what that copy will be able to bring that client. Once you understand that, now you have an outcome to work with, and we want to be able to sell the outcome, not the dollar amount that you're charging per hour, right? So that's a different shift. And so when I'm packaging my offers, I'm not trying to sell my time per hour. I'm trying to sell the outcome that I'm believing that will generate, okay? So that's the other factor. Now, one of the other things that helps with this is your past client results. And so as you help a client get results, you now can bring that into the sales process. So you can say, hey, I helped client X, Y, and Z generate these results. And that's why it's so important to work for that first story, because what you do is you take that story and you share it again and again and again. So I'll give you an example. I remember where I was in a situation, I helped a client generate, it was my first time helping a client generate $50,000 a month in their business, right? It was in my earlier stages of coaching. So I took that story and I began to tell that case study over and over and over again in my sales process so that clients were able to see what I was capable of as far as the results that I was bringing. So what you do is you fight for the first story, and then the story works for you. And once you begin to sell that story, you're now selling the impact, not your dollar amount. And so when you understand how to sell the impact and not the dollar amount, you begin to generate so much more revenue and it becomes really fun. Okay, so the next thing that is important in this process that affects your pricing is what we call the IP you provide. Okay, so what does this mean? So IP is your intellectual property. It's your process. It's your system. It's how you do things. And this is how you begin to differentiate yourself from other people in the space. So have you ever felt like someone was trying to shop you before? They're like, okay, who's the best price? Or, okay, what do you get? How many emails do I get? How many, what's your service? What's included? They're trying to shop you versus other people to get the best price. Well, here's how you prevent that. The way that you prevent that is in your sales process, you articulate your unique process, and in that, they can't find that somewhere else, okay? So let me give you an example. I reinvented a way that virtual events are done. And in this process, it's unique and it's you can only find it in our workshops. It's not found anywhere else. So they can't outshop me. They can't shop me somewhere else because I created a process that is unique. So in my agency, one of the things that we had is we had these 4 Ps. We help position you, package you, promote you, and then help you find partnerships to scale. So we have a 4-step process that we lead people through to get the outcome that we're promising. So when you have a step-by-step process that you're selling, which is your IP, now they can't shop you for another person who's charging per hour amount because you're not selling yourself per hour. You're selling your process. You're selling your system. You're selling the outcome. And so when you have that and you're selling to the right audience, you can be able to start to sell packages rather than sell yourself per hour. If you want to be able to learn how to take this offer and actually sell it and generate leads for it to the right audience, I'm hosting a workshop that is going to be all about how to be able to package this offer so that you could be able to sell more of your services to the right audience with the right offer with the right sales process. And it's a process that has generated our clients millions of dollars. And I want to be able to share with you how we're doing it because I think you'll be blown away. So it's completely free. I'm going to put it in the description of this video below. And that way you'll be able to access. And once you get it, you can't unlearn it. That's the cool thing about this process. So I'm excited for you to get it. Get your hands on this strategy. Going to be game changing. And Sarah, I can't wait for you to start to charge your true value. It's going to be a game changer.